Oscar De La Hoya has announced he's coming out of retirement to box again.
Cocaine isn't cheap.
Behind that million-dollar smile and those perfectly sculpted abs lived one of boxing's most complicated champions, Oscar De La Hoya, the golden boy, the pretty face of boxing, the crossover star who made housewives swoon and hardcore fans question his heart. But what happens when Hollywood's favorite fighter meets opponents who see right through the glamorous facade? You're about to discover the dark side of the golden boy's glittering career. These weren't just losses on Oscar's record. These were personal wars that scarred his soul and exposed the rage beneath his polished exterior. We're talking about bitter enemies who questioned his heritage, attacked his manhood, and systematically destroyed his confidence piece by piece. From cultural identity battles that split entire communities to psychological warfare that would make a therapist cringe, Oscar's career was defined by more than just his Olympic gold and pretty face. His opponents didn't just want to beat him. They wanted to break him, humiliate him, and prove that all the hype was just Hollywood smoke and mirrors.
I have another one of it. But yeah, I would definitely love to see me and Oscar. Oscar, come on, man. Let's do this. You have beef. Let's go.
Some called him soft. Others questioned his Mexican roots. A few even claimed he was nothing more than a manufactured star. But the hatred was real, the animosity was personal, and the psychological damage lasted long after the final bells rang. Today we're counting down the 6 fighters who absolutely despised Oscar De La Hoya. And trust me, what they did to the golden boy's psyche was far more devastating than any punch they ever landed. 6. Sugar Shane Mosley. Coming in at number 6 is Sugar Shane Mosley, the man who shattered Oscar's aura of invincibility and turned a friendship into one of boxing's most bitter feuds. June 17, 2000, Los Angeles. Mosley shocked the boxing world by dropping and outpointing the heavily favored De La Hoya in his own backyard. But the real damage wasn't the knockdown. It was the psychological warfare that followed. Mosley had been in Oscar's inner circle, knew his weaknesses, and used every piece of inside information to destroy him.
I said, okay, that's cool. Because I already knew I was moving to 47 to go get Oscar. Because I couldn't make 35 no more.
The hatred started brewing immediately after the fight. Sources close to Oscar's camp say he felt betrayed and humiliated by someone he considered a friend. Mosley allegedly told reporters that Oscar was all hype and no substance, claiming he'd always known the golden boy was overrated. But here's where it gets personal. Mosley's team allegedly leaked details about Oscar's pre-fight anxiety and confidence issues to the boxing media. Shane knew Oscar struggled with pressure, and he used it against him, revealed former trainer Floyd Mayweather Sr. Their 2003 rematch became an exercise in mutual contempt. Oscar allegedly called Mosley, "A jealous has been living off one lucky punch" during training camp. Meanwhile, Mosley continued questioning Oscar's heart and dedication, claiming he was more interested in Hollywood than boxing. The animosity was so intense that even after both men retired, they could barely be civil at boxing events. Mosley had done more than just beat Oscar. He'd exposed him as vulnerable, and that's something the golden boy never forgave. 5. Fernando Vargas. At number 5 is Fernando Vargas, the Oxnard warrior who turned their rivalry into a battle for the soul of Mexican-American boxing, and the hatred was as real as it gets. Their 2002 unification fight wasn't just about titles, it was about authenticity, identity, and who had the right to represent Mexican pride in America. Vargas, the tough kid from Oxnard's barrio, felt Oscar was a manufactured poster boy who'd sold out his heritage for Hollywood glamour. The psychological warfare started years before they fought. Vargas allegedly told Spanish-language media that Oscar was not a real Mexican and had forgotten where he came from. He questioned Oscar's connection to his roots, claiming the golden boy was too pretty and too fake to represent La Raza.
You really got to be smart. You really got to be watching everything because it'll make you pay. Oscar. Definitely Oscar.
But Oscar fired back with equal venom. Sources say he told his inner circle that Vargas was jealous of my success and represented everything wrong with Mexican stereotypes. The cultural divide became deeply personal, with both fighters' families reportedly refusing to acknowledge each other at boxing events. The build-up got ugly fast. Vargas's camp allegedly spread rumors about Oscar's personal life and questioned his toughness. Fernando felt like Oscar was embarrassing Mexican fighters with his pretty boy image, revealed former trainer Eduardo Garcia. When Oscar finally destroyed Vargas in their fight, the hatred didn't end. Vargas allegedly told his team that Oscar had sold his soul for fame and would never be respected by real Mexican fighters. The cultural war had permanent casualties, and both men's legacies were forever intertwined with their mutual contempt. Number 4 is Felix Trinidad, the Puerto Rican destroyer who handed Oscar his most controversial loss and created a hatred that lasted decades. September 18, 1999, Las Vegas. Oscar dominated Trinidad for most of their welterweight unification fight, but lost a majority decision that shocked the boxing world. The scorecards read like a bad joke, but the real damage was psychological. Oscar felt robbed of his defining victory. The hatred started immediately after the final bell. Oscar allegedly told his corner that the fight was stolen and that Trinidad knew he'd lost. But Trinidad's response was even more cutting. He reportedly said Oscar fought like he was scared to get hurt and didn't deserve to win. Behind the scenes, the animosity was poisonous. Sources close to Oscar's camp claim he became obsessed with the decision, watching the fight tape repeatedly and growing more bitter each time. Oscar felt like Felix took away his legacy, revealed former trainer Emmanuel Stewart. Trinidad's team allegedly spread rumors that Oscar was mentally weak and couldn't handle being hit. They questioned his heart and claimed he'd proven Puerto Rican fighters were superior to Mexican-American boxers. The cultural and personal attacks cut deep. The most devastating part? Trinidad allegedly told Puerto Rican media that Oscar was a pretty boy who crumbled under pressure and would never be considered a true champion. Those words haunted Oscar for years, contributing to his later struggles with confidence and self-doubt. Their rivalry became a symbol of everything wrong with boxing politics. But for Oscar, it was deeply personal, a robbery that stole more than just a victory. 3. Bernard Hopkins. At number 3 is Bernard Hopkins, the master of mental warfare who didn't just beat Oscar, he psychologically destroyed him in the most personal way possible. September 18, 2004, Las Vegas. Hopkins systematically dismantled Oscar over 12 rounds, but the real damage was done long before the first bell. The executioner had spent months getting inside Oscar's head, and by fight night, the Golden Boy was already beaten. Hopkins's psychological warfare was legendary. He allegedly told Oscar during a pre-fight face-off that he was going to expose you as the fraud you've always been. But it went deeper than trash talk. Hopkins attacked Oscar's manhood, his heritage, and his entire identity as a fighter. The most vicious part? Hopkins allegedly told the media that Oscar was a manufactured champion who'd been protected his whole career. He claimed the Golden Boy had never faced a real man in the ring and would crumble like a house of cards when confronted with true adversity. Behind the scenes, sources say Hopkins's psychological games were relentless. He allegedly had his team spread rumors about Oscar's personal life and questioned his dedication to boxing. Bernard knew exactly how to push Oscar's buttons, revealed former HBO commentator Jim Lampley. The fight itself was a masterclass in dominance, but Hopkins wasn't done. After the victory, he allegedly told reporters that Oscar was finished as an elite fighter and had been exposed as ordinary. The psychological damage was so severe that Oscar never looked the same in the ring again. Hopkins had done more than just win a fight. He'd broken Oscar's spirit and confidence in ways that punches never could. 2. Floyd Mayweather Jr. The number 2 spot belongs to Floyd Mayweather Jr., the man who turned their rivalry into the most personal and vicious feud in modern boxing history. Their 2007 mega fight, The World Awaits, was supposed to be boxing's biggest payday, but behind the scenes, it was pure hatred. Mayweather didn't just want to beat Oscar, he wanted to humiliate him, emasculate him, and prove that the Golden Boy was nothing more than a pretty face. The psychological warfare started years before they fought. Mayweather allegedly told anyone who would listen that Oscar was soft and wouldn't last 5 rounds with a real fighter. He questioned Oscar's heart, his manhood, and his entire legacy as a champion. but the personal attacks went nuclear during the buildup. Mayweather allegedly made comments about Oscar's personal life that were so vicious they can't be repeated. Sources say he deliberately targeted Oscar's insecurities about his image and masculinity, knowing exactly where to apply psychological pressure. The hatred became so intense that their camps reportedly had to be kept separate during promotional events. Floyd was trying to break Oscar mentally before they even got in the ring, revealed former Golden Boy executive Richard Schaefer. When Mayweather won a split decision, he twisted the knife deeper. He allegedly told reporters that Oscar was finished and had been exposed as a hype job. The victory wasn't enough. Floyd wanted to destroy Oscar's entire sense of self-worth. Their business relationship through Golden Boy Promotions only made the hatred worse. Mayweather allegedly felt Oscar was trying to control him, while Oscar reportedly resented Floyd's ego and disrespect. The psychological warfare continues to this day. 1. Manny Pacquiao. The number 1 spot goes to Manny Pacquiao, the Filipino destroyer who didn't just beat Oscar, he systematically dismantled everything the Golden Boy had built over 2 decades. December 6, 2008, Las Vegas. Pacquiao destroyed Oscar over 8 brutal rounds, but the real damage was psychological. This wasn't just a loss, it was a public execution that exposed Oscar as a short fighter clinging to past glory. The hatred started building during the lead-up. Pacquiao's team allegedly told Filipino media that Oscar was finished and taking the fight just for money. Trainer Freddie Roach reportedly said Oscar was there for the taking and would be easy work for Manny. But here's what made it personal. Pacquiao allegedly showed no respect for Oscar's legacy during training camp. Sources say he told sparring partners that the Golden Boy was just another opponent and not deserving of special preparation. The dismissive attitude cut deep. The fight itself was a massacre. Pacquiao dropped Oscar twice and dominated every round. But the psychological damage was worse than the physical beating. Oscar looked old, slow, and completely outclassed by a smaller man who showed him no mercy. After the fight, Pacquiao's camp allegedly told the media that Oscar was completely finished and should retire immediately. The lack of respect for what Oscar had accomplished was devastating to his psyche. The most painful part? Pacquiao had done what Hopkins, Mayweather, and others couldn't. He'd made Oscar look completely ordinary. The Golden Boy announced his retirement after the fight, but the psychological scars from that demolition lasted forever. Some beatings destroy more than just bodies. There you have it. The 6 fighters who shattered Oscar's golden image. Which rivalry cut deepest? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more boxing drama and untold stories.